nice. You're always doing stuff for us.
I'm not a horror fan, as in conventional horror, but I love this, is that it fits for my world somewhere in that triangle of Wicker Man and Midsummer, in that folk horror world. And just saying to somebody, it's whilst the whole premise is horror, the whole story is about people, which is what I love first and foremost. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, I think so. I'm just following the book, which has those horror elements, but it still is a psychodrama. You know, it's about a relationship that has to go through a very traumatic event, and sometimes we need a bit of magic in order to deal with that. You know, that's what the book was saying, and so you can interpret that as horror, or you can interpret it as something else that's a bit more mysterious. You know, it's something like Gothic or a sort of dark fantasy. You know, it's not necessarily horror for me.
I was just saying to Morfydd that, you know, she was born in Sweden, the land of the land of the Norse gods, brought up in the land of the Druids. Does she bring that kind of otherworldliness with her?
Yeah, it's in her bones and blood, and she, I just knew the very first time we spoke that she was right for it. You know, that the way she was talking about her influences and folk tales in general, and she even understood it was, you know, that it was about nature getting its own back. You know, there's a sort of revenge element to it that she was connected with. So yeah, and it came through in the performance then as well. You know, she would just, you know, the first take, it was just right, and she brought so much to it. And
we spoke a lot about Morfydd and Matt, but also you get a fabulous performance out of Arthur. Some say he never worked with children, but he really brings off his character. Yeah. How was that to work?
Luckily, Arthur just knew. He again, it was similar. For some reason, he just had that ability to deliver it in the first take, which was useful for us, because sometimes he didn't quite understand the concept of having to do more than one take. So quite often I only had one or two takes of Arthur, but luckily it was good.
And the level of detail in the film, down to the cars and the decor and everything like that, how hard was that to pull together in this tiny farmhouse apparently in the middle of nowhere?
It was tricky, yeah, but we worked hard on it, and we had enough time in pre-production to sort all that stuff out. And, you know, the production designer and art director were incredible. We were watching a lot of stuff together. I was on the Yorkshire Film Archives watching documentaries from the 70s and finding out lots of like little details and quirks of the time that we put into the film.
And lastly, can't let you go without talking about the sound design, which is utterly fantastic. And there's a theme, a thread that seems to hold the whole thing together. How much input did you have to give, or did they just, you know, seem to pick up on your idea and run with that straight away?
Well, we talked a lot. The sound designer Ben Bed, we were having meetings every week talking about how to get across the sense of this whistle in the wind, and then when exactly does that morph into the soundtrack, you know? And so there was a close collaboration with Ben and Matthew Herbert, the composer, and for me it was always about not judging the characters ever. Quite typically in horror, the characters get judged with this loud, sort of obnoxious sound design and score as well. But for me, I wanted the audience to understand that that a spell was being cast over them, that they were being drawn into a place where they should be. You know, there's a sense of fate, or what we used to call weird in England, and so they're being drawn to a place that they're supposed to be, yet they don't really want to be there. And so it was important to get that across through the music.
Works fantastically. It's a marvellous film. I really enjoyed it.
Great,
and great to speak to you again.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!